In a world where connections seem to define us, where we anchor our worth to the opinions of others, the act of stepping away, of letting someone lose you, might seem unfathomable. Yet, in the philosophy of Stoicism, this act is not one of selfishness or cruelty, but of profound wisdom and virtue. For in the letting go, we find clarity, resilience, and a return to what truly matters: ourselves, our principles, and the mastery of our inner world. The freedom in letting go. To understand why letting others lose you can be the right decision, we must first grasp one of the core tenets of Stoicism, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, reminds us, some things are up to us, and some things are not. What others think of us, how they perceive our worth, and whether they choose to stay in our lives, all of this lies outside our control. Clinging to what is beyond our grasp only feeds our suffering. We must ask ourselves, are we tethering our sense of self to the fleeting approval of others? If so, we are not free. True freedom lies in detachment, not from love or compassion, but from dependency on external validation. When we allow someone to lose us, we are not abandoning them. We are liberating ourselves from the chains of their judgment. The courage to stand alone. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. This paradox traps us in a web of fear of rejection, fear of solitude, fear of being misunderstood. But solitude is not the enemy. It is the forge in which strength and clarity are born. Letting others lose us is not an act of surrender, but one of courage. It is a declaration that we will not compromise our values or sacrifice our peace to appease another. To walk away, to step into the silence of our own company, is to say, I will not allow your perception of me to dictate my reality." Destructive emotions, the battle within. When relationships falter or others turn away, it is natural to feel the sting of anger, sadness, or betrayal. These emotions, while human, can become our greatest adversaries. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, warned of the destructive power of unchecked emotion. Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. Stoicism calls us to transcend these destructive emotions, not by denying their existence, but by mastering them. To let someone lose us without bitterness is the ultimate act of self-control. It is to choose peace over resentment, understanding over blame, and virtue over vengeance. The virtue of self-preservation. There's a profound Stoic lesson in recognizing when a connection no longer serves our growth. As Epictetus taught, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. If a relationship diminishes your strength, stirs your vices, or distracts you from your higher purpose, then letting it go is not abandonment, but preservation of your virtue. By letting others lose us, we honor the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with nature. We align ourselves with what is true, rather than clinging to what is comfortable or familiar. And in doing so, we make space for the relationships and pursuits that nurture our character and elevate our spirit. Embracing the pain of growth. To let go is not without its pain. There will be moments of doubt, nights of solitude, and whispers of regret. But pain, as the Stoics remind us, is not our enemy. Marcus Aurelius encouraged us to see adversity as an opportunity. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The pain of letting others lose us is a crucible that refines us. It teaches us to rely on our inner strength, to find joy in simplicity, and to cultivate a love for our own company. Through this pain, we are reminded that we are enough, that our worth is not measured by who stays, but by how steadfastly we remain true to ourselves. A legacy of strength. In the end, letting others lose us is not about isolation, but about alignment. It is about choosing the harder path, the path of self-mastery and inner fortitude. It is about embodying the Stoic virtues of courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance. We are not meant to live as shadows of others' expectations. We are meant to stand as pillars of our own convictions. And in doing so, we inspire others not by clinging to them, but by showing them what it means to live with integrity and grace. Let them lose you, if they must, for in their loss, you will find yourself. As we walk this path together, let us remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Letting go is not the end. It is the beginning of something far greater, the unshakable foundation of a life well lived. The illusion of control. So often, we find ourselves striving to hold on to relationships, to perceptions, to moments that no longer serve us. It feels safer to clutch at these familiar things, even when they cause us harm, than to face the uncertainty of letting go. But this clinging is born of a dangerous illusion, the belief that we have control over what lies outside of us. Epictetus reminds us, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. What lies in our power? Only our thoughts, our choices, our actions. The love someone gives or withholds, the respect they offer or deny, these are beyond our reach. To hinge our happiness on them is to build a castle on sand. When we let others lose us, we reject this illusion. We embrace the reality that control over others is neither possible nor desirable. Instead, we turn inward, focusing on the one thing we can govern: ourselves. The weight of others' expectations. Each of us has felt the burden of others' expectations. The silent demands to conform, to be agreeable, to sacrifice our authenticity for acceptance. These expectations are heavy, yet we carry them willingly, fearing the consequences of putting them down. But what is the cost of this compliance? We lose ourselves in the process. Our true nature is buried under layers of pretense, and the flame of our individuality grows dim. Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, urges us to resist this erosion of self, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve. The process is mutual. For men learn while they teach. If those around us demand that we shrink to fit their mold, they are not our allies, but our obstacles. Letting them lose us is an act of defiance, a reclaiming of our right to live authentically. The strength in vulnerability. Letting go is often perceived as a sign of weakness. It is easy to believe that holding on no matter the cost is proof of strength. But true strength lies not in clinging, but in releasing, in trusting that we will endure the loss and emerge stronger for it. Marcus Aurelius observed, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. To let others lose us is to embrace vulnerability. It is to acknowledge our pain, to sit with it, and to learn from it. This vulnerability is not weakness, it is the foundation of resilience. In the act of letting go, we affirm our capacity to withstand. We show ourselves that we are not defined by who stays or who goes, but by the principles we uphold and the peace we cultivate within. The harmony of nature. Stoicism teaches us to live in accordance with nature, to align ourselves with its rhythms and accept its inevitabilities. Just as the seasons change and rivers carve new paths, so too must our relationships evolve. Some will flourish, while others will wither. This is not a tragedy, but a reflection of life's impermanence. Epictetus reminds us, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well. To let others lose us is to honor this natural flow. It is to release what no longer fits, to create space for new growth, and to trust in the wisdom of the universe. When we resist this flow, we suffer. We cling to what was, blind to what could be. But when we accept it, we find harmony. We learn to cherish the present, to welcome change, and to see every loss as a step on the path to greater understanding. Building an inner citadel. The Stoics often spoke of the inner citadel, the unshakable fortress of the mind. This citadel is built not on external foundations, but on the strength of our character and the clarity of our purpose. When we let others lose us, we retreat to this citadel. We examine our values, our desires, and our fears. We ask ourselves what truly matters. Who do we want to be? What kind of life do we want to lead? This introspection is not easy. It requires honesty, humility, and courage. But it is through this process that we discover our true selves. We realize that we are not defined by others' opinions or actions, but by our own choices. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." Letting others lose us is not the end of the story, but the beginning of a deeper journey, a journey toward self-knowledge and self-mastery. The paradox of losing and gaining. When we let others lose us, we often fear that we are creating a void, that by stepping away, we will be left with nothing but emptiness. Yet, as paradoxical as it may seem, loss often leads to gain. By letting go of relationships or situations that no longer serve us, we open ourselves to the possibility of something greater: clarity, freedom, and alignment with our higher purpose. The Stoics understood this well. As Seneca wrote On the shortness of life, "Life is long if you know how to use it." How much of our precious time do we waste clinging to what hinders our growth? How much energy do we expend on those who diminish our light instead of nurturing it? By letting others lose us, we reclaim this time and energy. We redirect it toward pursuits that enrich our lives and bring us closer to the virtuous life the Stoics championed. We discover that in the space created by loss, there is room for new opportunities, deeper connections, and most importantly, a stronger sense of self. The role of love in letting go. It may seem contradictory to speak of love in the context of letting others lose us, but true love is at the heart of this decision. To let go is not to cease caring. It is to care deeply enough to allow both ourselves and others the freedom to grow. Epictetus reminds us, "Never say about anything, 'I have lost it,' but only 'I have given it back.'" When we let someone lose us, we are not rejecting them. We are releasing them and ourselves from an attachment that may no longer be healthy or mutually beneficial. This act of release is one of love for ourselves, for our principles, and for the natural course of life. True love is not possessive. It does not demand that others conform to our expectations or remain in our lives at all costs. Instead, it respects their journey and prioritizes our shared humanity over our individual desires. By letting go, we honor this higher form of love, one rooted in freedom, understanding, and mutual respect. Overcoming the fear of judgment. One of the greatest barriers to letting others lose us is the fear of judgment. We worry about how others will perceive our decision, about the labels they might attach to us: selfish, cold, unfeeling. This fear can paralyze us, keeping us trapped in relationships or situations that stifle our growth. But the Stoics teach us that the opinions of others are not our concern. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not what others do or say that troubles you, but your own judgment of it. The judgments of others are external, beyond our control. What matters is how we choose to interpret and respond to them." When we let go of this fear, we liberate ourselves. We become immune to the opinions of others, grounded instead in our own values and principles. This is not arrogance, but confidence, the quiet assurance that we are living in alignment with our higher purpose. The gift of inner peace. Letting others lose us is, ultimately, a gift we give ourselves. It is an act of self-preservation, a commitment to our own well-being and peace of mind. By walking away from what no longer serves us, we create space for stillness, reflection, and healing. This peace is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of harmony. It is the ability to face life's challenges with equanimity, to remain calm in the midst of chaos. As Seneca wrote, "A wise man is content with his lot, whatever it may be, without wishing for what he has not." When we cultivate this inner peace, we become unshakable. We learn to weather life's storms without losing our balance, to face adversity with courage and grace. And in this state of peace, we discover the true power of letting go. A shared journey of growth. As we reflect on the act of letting others lose us, let us remember that this is not a solitary journey. While it may involve stepping away from certain individuals, it also brings us closer to others who share our values and aspirations. The Stoics believed in the importance of community, of surrounding ourselves with those who inspire and uplift us. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and the quality of our thoughts is deeply influenced by the company we keep. By letting go of relationships that hinder us, we make room for those that nurture us. We create a community of like-minded individuals who challenge us to grow, who remind us of our potential, and who walk beside us on the path to virtue. The final lesson: embrace the impermanence. Life is a series of beginnings and endings, arrivals and departures. To let others lose us is to embrace this impermanence, to accept the ebb and flow of existence with grace. The Stoics teach us that nothing in life is permanent, not our possessions, not our relationships, not even our own lives. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything you see will soon alter and cease to exist." Think of how many changes you have already witnessed. The world is nothing but change. By accepting this truth, we free ourselves from the fear of loss. We learn to cherish the present moment, to hold loosely to what we value, and to let go when the time comes. In this acceptance, we find peace, wisdom, and a deeper appreciation for the beauty of life. Conclusion: the path to self-mastery. Letting others lose us is not an easy decision, but it is often the right one. It is a choice rooted in courage, wisdom, and love, a choice that reflects the core principles of Stoicism. As we walk this path, let us remember that we are not alone. We are part of a greater whole, a community of individuals striving for self-mastery and inner peace. Together, we can support one another in this journey, drawing strength from our shared commitment to virtue. Let them lose you if they must, and in their loss, find yourself. For in the end, the greatest relationship you will ever have is the one you build with your own soul.